Hello, everybody. Everyone, every no one, someone. This is Nate. This is Nate Flies. This is my flight sim stream. And we'll be getting started in about 5-10 minutes. FlightFactor Boeing 757 celebrating the Tampa Bay Rays hitting the mid-season, 81 games of 162. And we are at the top of the AL. Who would have thought? So we'll enjoy the team charter flight out of St. Pete back up to Kansas City, Missouri. All right, see you in 5-10 minutes. Hello again. We are in beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida, at the St. Pete Airport, where the Tampa Bay Rays typically take their charter flight to road games. And it's a big day. We are 81 games into the season of 162 games, and the Rays are the best team in the American League. How about that? So, to celebrate, we will go with them on the flight, and in the words of Stu here, I'll just keep on winging it. All right. Thank you, everybody, every nobody, or somebody, for joining me today. My name, once again, is Nate. This is my little YouTube Twitch channel, Nate Flies, where I practice and improve my proficiency in Flight Simulator. I started getting into Flight Simulator more around the pandemic, when I was getting stir crazy and missing traveling. And so Microsoft Flight Simulator came out. It was a lot of fun. And once I got sick of, doing barrel rolls and flying planes under the Eiffel Tower or the Golden Gate Bridge and so forth, Death Star runs through the Grand Canyon, I've always loved big jetliners, so I started to get interested in how you actually fly these, and I went on YouTube like everything else and learned how to sort of fly these things. So the idea with this stream is that I'm trying to get more comfortable with the real world procedures in these aircraft, and today we are in XP12, which is my simulator of choice. And I am in the FlightFactor Boeing 757, and this one here, registered November 650 Delta Lima, is usually one registration off from the actual Tampa Bay Rays team charter flight that they take out of Kilo Papa India Echo to St. Pete Clearwater Airport. And so what I like to do is on the team travel days, I jump in their plane and we fly to the next destination, which is going to be a tough road trip up in Kansas City. So we're doing an extremely boring flight across the middle of the hot United States. So thanks for joining me. And basically I just go through all this. I started recording these streams. Oh, we're going to have the guy bothering us today.
Sir, it might be a tad too warm in the cabin.
Yeah, I agree with that. We'll get some people some air conditioning. And yeah, I started recording my flights because I was practicing, and you get to this point where you really don't know what you're doing wrong. And so recording the flights was extremely helpful for that. So that's what I started doing. So I'll go through kind of the stuff. I talk through things to see what I miss. I watch these back for the most part if I have questions about what happened during my flight, and we go from there. So otherwise, thanks for joining me. We got a long flight today, longer than I usually like to do. Maybe we will speed up time at some point. But as our dude said, let's go ahead and get some air conditioning going. So I think I did enough stuff up here that I care about. Let's just get the APU fired up, which is the auxiliary power unit. I'm turning on some lights. telling people I let people smoke usually on the aircraft. Kansas has got to be lower elevation. We'll check that in a minute. Just setting up some preliminary stuff for our pressurization panel. So the APU that we're powering up is back here. Enjoy some sights and sounds of Flight Simulator. Smells. It would smell like jet fuel. But yeah, this is a little engine in the back. It sucks in air here, and it exhausts here, hot air, and it's used for pressurized air and electrical power to supply the plane before the engines are doing that. And this is, again, this lovely Boeing 757-200, which is my favorite aircraft. I think it's the coolest looking aircraft. Maybe not much longer for this world. But we, well, UPS and FedEx might keep them going for us. But with the APU running, we can go ahead and flip it on and finally get people some air conditioning. Here we can go a little cooler. Get the utility buses going. Turn a couple lights on. All right, let's keep our players comfortable back there. So, what are we doing today? Well, I'll bring up Navigraph charts to show you our flight path today. But we are leaving Tampa St. Pete, so here is our routing. We will be taking off to the north, but I'm going to give everyone a nice shot of the Tropicana field. So we'll do a little loop boat down into Tampa Bay, and then before we continue on up to Ended, we'll fly around the peninsula, go up Fort DeSoto, and then we are leaving hot Florida for the hot center of the country, and it's brutal heat dome and all this, and we'll be flying into kind of a cool little airport. We'll look at it a little more, but it looks like the team plane, I track the team plane because I'm a weirdo, but they fly into this little not regional airport, but what is this thing, Wheeler Field. It's a smaller airport instead of the international one, and it's cool. It's right in the middle of Kansas City. Kansas City is kind of an interesting place, if you can believe that, but that's what we're up to today. So we're going to go ahead and set up our aircraft. We're in a cold and dark state. I mean, totally off, but now we're going to get this thing all set up. So first things first, I do want to get the weights and all of that good stuff. So let's go to our charts here and let's get that set up. So today we got some steps there. Our block fuel today is 28,400 pounds. So fuel weight 28,470. Oops. Okay. Oop. Okay. The sim brief thing is never quite right on the packs. Because I don't think can this thing hold even 150? Oh yeah, I can. Okay. Other zero fuel weight 168, zero fuel weight 167. All right, so a little heavier. Let's take a little less baseball mitts. 167. Looks like our zero fuel weight. Takeoff weight 194. A little heavier here. I did take some extra fuel, so that might be. Oh, that's what's not showing here. 28.5. That's right. 28,500. There we go. All right, that's close enough for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and start loading the aircraft. Get that out of the way. And let's go ahead and start our setup. So a couple little pre-flight things. I'll huff some oxygen. Do a quick recall check just to make sure everything is as expected here. My flight instruments were looking good. I have to tell the plane where we are in the IRS. But okay, I did all the kind of pre-flight things I want to do. Let's jump down into our flight computer here and set up our routing and our takeoff parameters, and we will get going. So let's pull up our charts so we know what we're doing today. So in the FMC here, we are in a 757-200, and we've got the Pratt & Whitneys today. I've been enjoying the Rolls-Royce ones, but for authenticity, we will be flying the Pratt & Whitneys today. So we are at Kilo Papa India Echo, and we will tell it where we are. Set the IRS. That should have made our screens come alive here. All right. Roughly where we are and where we're headed. Let's go ahead on the route. Once again, origin, Kilo Papa India Echo, and we're going to Kilo Mike Kilo Charlie, something like that. Double check. Mike Kilo Charlie. Yep. And we are, like in real life, Delta, and then the Rays record, 48 and 33. So playing some inspired baseball. So my buddy and I always joke that we need to put a mid-season bet and the odds are always so good on the Rays. You just put like $100 or $200 and of funny money. I probably would have made like $5,000 or something today. I bet they were like plus 5,000 or something. Anyway, let's not worry about gambling. I do like the gambling, but I don't do it on sports if I can help it. So we're taking off today. Runway. Get our navigraph up again. Oh, we don't really need to go here. All right, 36 or 36. Awesome route. Activate. Execute that. And let's start plugging in stuff in our route page. So the ended to Layson, and then we're going direct to Patois. Yep, I do this the old-fashioned way. Direct to Patois, and then we take Quebec 116, like a highway in the sky, to Jawa. Is that a Star Wars reference? Juliet Alpha Whiskey Juliet Alpha. Direct to Oscar. What was that? Zulu Romeo. Which one? Check. Now you'd think it would always show the closest one. Alright, what are your coordinates? 31 degrees. Got it. Next page. Direct to, this is the big, the hell is this thing? Juliet. Kilo Juliet, like a 0. No, that's an O. Kilo Juliet Oscar. No, it does. Isn't that 9? Is it Oscar? I guess. Kilo Juliet 09 Oscar. No, not in database. Well, screw that. We'll just go straight to Arnie. That ain't in the database. I am up to date. So Alpha Romeo November Yankee, which is just on the same. It's on the same radial out, so that seems fine to me. And then we are at India Golf Bravo, and then direct to him, Mike Echo Mike, and then we will take Juliet for 1, 2, Sierra Golf Foxtrot. And then there is our arrival, the Tiger 7. So let's execute that. Let's go back into our departures and arrivals. Go to the index. Go to our arrivals page. There's the old Tiger 7. There's that Sierra Golf Foxtrot transition. And today we'll be doing, what is it, runway 1919. So let's do the ILS 19, no transition. We'll just make our way around. So execute that. And awesome. Oh, I didn't want to do that. KPIE. So, let's go to our, let me reset my EFIS panel. And let's go to plan mode, legs page down here, and let's step through and see if this looks. Boxer, people, vectors to ended, Layson, patois. I'm looking at some charts on the other side. I guess you can look at them too. But this is I like this one because you got to stay under 1600, which is always a challenge in this bad boy. But so we're just making sure it looks like we have a reasonable flight path here. Arnie, B, step, Lucky, Sable, and then let's close that discontinuity. Execute. Step. Moray. And we'll double check all this. But yeah, we just kind of fly over the airport and fly outbound. And that'll give us a little look over Kansas City, Missouri. And I guess we'll be creeping a little bit into the other side. Yeah, so if you don't know, Kansas City is in Missouri. The U.S. makes a lot of sense sometimes, folks. All right, map over here. That's looking good to me. Now let's do our performance and weights and all that stuff. So the plane is loaded. I can go ahead and do that. Our reserves today are, like I said, I took a little bit of extra, 7.9, so we can do a loop over the trop. There's our reserves. So it says cruise out 360 until Arnie 380. So we'll just go ahead and punch in the 380. Cost index today, a very low 20. We are, I guess, gas getting expensive again because no one knows what they're doing. And no wind. Yeah, it's a brutal hot day in the U.S. today. All right, cool. So let's do our takeoff. And we'll use our sim brief takeoff calculator. So, as usual, we'll do our flaps 5 takeoff and assume temp today is, I mean, it's probably super hot out. We'll check that in a sec. I'm surprised it's not like a higher assume temp, but maybe it's still cool here. 47, so DTO1 would like to do. Not quite good. See, center gravity. Yep. And V1 is 147, which is when you have to decide to hit the brakes or commit to your takeoff. 148 is our rotate when we start taking off, and then 150 is our V2 speed. And let's go ahead and set up some of this stuff up here. I'm gonna keep that to auto. Let's turn our flight directors on. There's 150 for our speed. We will be taking off Well, we'll be taking off to north and looping around. So it wants us to originally take off on heading 356. So that's just right here. And the altitude is that low, 1,600 feet. So, and we can pretty much stay that low, and we'll enjoy a little view of St. Pete and the Trop. So today, though, that will be a, I guess until Foxer. Let's do an LNAV. I'm not doing a VNAV takeoff because otherwise it's going to speed us up too much. I'm again trying to practice in this thing, not doing these massive takeoffs, which it likes to do. So, all right, cool. Go over on the co-pilot side real quick here. Let's over do a couple of little things. Go do the legs page on your side. Let's zoom you out about 80, and we can have auto VRs today. All right, cool. So everything is set up there. I'm liking how things are looking. Let's do a checklist to keep us on track. So we do have oxygen, the pressurization is all good. Our flight instruments we tested, parking brake is not set. And gear pins are removed, okay, before start. All right, so we have fuel, we're loaded, so let's do that junk now. So airplane, let's close all the doors. Go to the ground, let's get rid of the bus, the fuel, the stairs, the luggage. And we have APU power, so we'll go ahead and ditch the external power. Put this to auto. I'm gonna go ahead and turn our fuel pumps on since we're about to get the hell out of here. Anti-ice should be good. All right, everyone, buckle up. It's happening this time. All right, cool. Once we push back, I can do our hydraulics. So back to the checklist. So fuel is checked. Passenger signs are set. Windows are locked. MCP, we have V2. We have our initial heading. We have our very low altitude. Takeoff thrust is what we want. Takeoff speeds are what we want down here. Rudder and aileron trimmer set. Taxi takeoff briefing kind of complete. So what we're doing today, we're taking off 3-6. So we'll just take a hard right, alpha across some runways, alpha 8, and we'll go full length. And then as we take off to the north, as we take this little dodge over to Foxer, I will go heading and then turn us around, and we will come fly over the bay, say bye to the Trop, which has been very nice to us after this 10-game homestand, and we will make our way to Kansas City. Probably just go direct ended. We'll have a little joy flight around St. Pete here. So all right, cool. Before start is all good. So let's get operations ground. Bye bye GPU. Bye bye chocks. And well, we don't even need to push back. How about that? So forget you. We can just get going. Even though I do like when the pushback people talk to us. Oh well. So unfortunately, we are in a passenger plane today, so I've got to do like
Ladies and gentlemen,
this stuff.
this is the head purser. The crew would like to welcome you on board this Boeing airliner. If you haven't already done so, please stow your carry-on luggage underneath the seat in front of you or in the overhead bin. Anything possible to make your flight comfortable and enjoyable.
So in real life, this aircraft is set in all first class configuration. It's really cool. Inside, I can show you some pictures. Okay, recall. Everything's looking good here. Telling me hydraulics and all that stuff. Yeah.
Attention, all flight attendants. Doors automatic.
All right, I'm gonna start the hydraulics. Extinguish. Extinguish. This one will not. Like that. Extinguish. Get our yaw dampers on. And oh man, I'm used to the Rolls Royce. I have more things to click in the Rolls Royce. We don't have those fancy Rolls Royce engines today. All right, cool. Well, we're ready for engine startup. So let me go ahead and open up the engine page, expected warnings, and let's do it. So packs come off. We'll start engine 2 first, so set that. And we'll look for N2 spinning up. So these are turbine engines, and one of the low compression engines starts spinning up. And as it gets to about 20%, you add fuel and a spark, and with the correct mixture, we have a, reaction, explosions, heat, and fire, and thrust. That's the wrong engine. I'm actually change our acceleration height to 600. I don't want to start pitching down at all, really. So that's just down here. I'm messing with some of the. It'd be nice if I could do like an NADP1 type takeoff. I might be able to figure it out in this thing, but not today. All right, cool. That sounded like and looks like we have a good engine start. Get engine 1. Same deal. Watching the engine spool up. Okay, let's add fuel. And things start happening. Alright, our engine is starting to stabilize here. Cool. We are doing it. Let's call that good. Turn our air conditioner back on. I don't want to let our players get hot back there. We're not in Europe. We're packs on at all times. Alright, so let's switch over to the generators. Go ahead and that's all good. Let's get rid of the isolation valve and the APU bleed air. I can go ahead and turn the APU off and get rid of the actual generator. Turn some runway lights on. And I want to go down here. Our trim is 3.3. So trim down about there. And it is a flaps 5 takeoff. Good. There, the slats coming out. Come the flaps. All right. Do a quick flight control check. You can see our APU is spooling down. Pull back, forward, full left, full right, rudder, full left, full right, neutral. Let's set our brakes to RTO, and this is feeling like we are about ready to rock. Do a checklist. Checklist tells us everything. All right, before taxi, anti-ice we won't need today. Isolation is off. Recall is checked. That's just the parking brake. RTO, ground equipment is clear. And our turn off lights are on. So that is the before taxi checklist. So if we were doing stuff, we're not on VATSIM today. Squawk something. I could put the ILS in, but this will be it. Do the safety demonstration. Again, I gotta tell this guy stuff, otherwise he's gonna be a jerk to us the whole flight. Alright, weather. It's pretty clear right now. I'm not gonna put the weather on because it's gonna get in our way. I will put...
We suggest that you keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the flight, as we may experience turbulence. Please take a few moments.
Again, just the weather is almost more of like a nuisance thing. Alright. And we're in Florida. Terrain shouldn't really matter too much either. So, okay, let's check the weather before we take off, and we will go. Alright, 3009. Wind should be okay. We will have a little bit of wind to our right, but not much. And we'll take a big right turn anyway. Well, I don't want to do that per se. Alright, I think we're ready to rock. Let's let our guy finish his thing. Go, engines. Alright, here we go. Parking brake released. And we should be able to make this first turn here. Oh, I should check. Alright, good. Let me test something. Ah, nice. So I did reinstall the Drischel light mod. Oh wait, I forgot I'm starting to turn here. Which is gonna take the sting off some of the lighting in the game. X-Plane has this very bright, kind of that bloom on the lights.
Use the whistle and light to attract attention. Also, your seat bottom cushion can be used as a flotation device. Pull the cushion from the seat, slip your arms into the straps, and hug the cushion to your chest. The following electronic devices: smartphones, CD players, laptop computers.
See, this doesn't count. This is a charter flight. We've got baseball players on. They just had a great home stand. We'll talk baseball once we get going. I'm extremely upset with the MLB fans. I said climb 2 yet.
You will find this and all the other safety information in the card located in the seat pocket in front of you. We strongly suggest you read it before takeoff. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask one of our crew members. We wish you all an enjoyable
Alright,
flight.
no watching. No watch. We didn't do that. Hopefully we don't get stuck. We probably will. Well, that's an inauspicious start. Alright, my bad. I can't look away from this. Alright, crossing a runway. That off.
Approaching 4.
Oh yeah, Ras Lady is back. I realized I hadn't ever installed the XRAS. Yeah, I'm bad at taking my eyes off the road. Can't seem to drive an aircraft straight. Okay, so I'm gonna try a little something weird today on our takeoff to try and keep this sucker in a little more control, and we'll see just how it responds. All right, parking brake set. Let me do our final stuff. Are these on? These can come off. And let's do our checklist. So takeoff briefing. I think we know what we're doing. Packs are on auto. Flaps are set. Yep. Stabilizer trim is set. Flight controls were checked. The cabin is secured, and those lights are off. So we are ready for takeoff. But yeah, I'm gonna kind of like just sort of get us into vertical speed mode for the climb, and just so we can keep a relatively normal speed and not just totally just N1 toga our way, blast through everything. So all right, well, we are ready to go. Auto throttle is armed. Take a sip of coffee. What's it outside? 32C. Woof. I think my European friends are, they know all about that right now. Alright, we ready? I'm ready. I want to take off. I know what I'm doing. Let's go.
On runway 36.
Thank you, Ras Lady. Let's spool up about 40%. Get the engine stable. That looks good. Alright, thrust. EPR. Let's go. Alright. Airspeed is alive, as the professionals would say. $80 knots, thrust hold. That's also what they'd say. Alright, V1 and rotate. Nice gentle climb, positive rate, gear up. Keep that nose coming up. So I am just going to bug up to our flaps 5 speed here. I go autopilot on, vertical speed, and I'm actually going to do alt hold here. As it just blasted by that. So it just doesn't like that we blasted by. I don't know why it's telling me that. It's still overshooting. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and select. And let's do our flyover.
1,000.
2,000 vertical speed. Gently. Yeah, I'm just kind of testing a little bit how some of this MCP panel works. I didn't want to be below that speed really. Alright, go speed up a little. Go flaps 1. Alright. We will be doing a low, slow pass of St. Pete. As is our right. go ahead and speed up to our up speed. Alright, all capture. Alright, flaps up. Alright, let's say hello to Tropicana Field. It's up here. So I'm going to kind of take us out over the bay and then we'll fly up the coast. Quick after takeoff check this. Well, I'm going to keep my lights on. This thing does all the after stuff, doesn't it? Packs auto, landing gear up, flaps up, altimeter set, yeah, so. Yeah, coming off that nice homestand. So we'll be flying over, what is this airport called? I forget. But here's downtown St. Pete. We're doing our celebratory flyby. It's too bad I can't like download a well, we'll see. Does anyone make a nice version of the Trop for X-Plane? I don't think so. So that's a default Tropicana Field on X-Plane. Downtown St. Pete. Alright, goodbye Tropicana. Let's head out over the water. Let's climb 5,000. Alright, setting 5,000, vertical speed. Just 500 feet per minute. This is fine. Easy hot day. I don't miss these, I'll tell you that much. But I do miss Tampa Bay. I live there. I like it there. I don't anymore. Live there, that is. I still like it. Let's go ahead and speed up 250. Alright, go to legs page. Let's go. Oh, this thing likes us using the actual direct thing. So let's go direct ended. Execute. Turn. We'll help this thing out a little. Port DeSoto Beach. Beautiful stuff. Is this the Don Cesar? Where are we? Alright, let's go LNAV, VNAV, speed. And let's go up to 12,000. Good heading. Legs page over here. Alright, cool. And flying. View progress. Out of here. I've played golf somewhere around here before. So yeah, one of the things that really got me into flight simming as a hobby is I love flying as a passenger. Yeah, weird, huh? No, Earth from you know, greater than 10,000 feet is an incredible thing to me, and so I've always been really, really fascinated. I like maps and cartography. Study it as a academic, believe it or not. And so doing this is scratches some of my weird itches. But yeah, I used to live in Tampa Bay. Tampa is a really cool. There's MacDill Air Force Base. But yeah, Tampa Bay is a really cool city in Florida. I think it has a little more character than some of the other big cities, and that was us. Alright, so we are on our way. Start the clock. I never do. I always like to point out although maybe I'm too far north. I had some friends. I had some friends when I lived here who used to go, like, you know, they should be dead. These were thrill-seeking people. But they would get under influences and go swim out to some of these, like, barrier islands, as it were. And, yeah. But I think it was more around DeSoto to the south. We're right now, just to give you a sense of where we are, over Palm Harbor, Tarpon Springs, kind of like a beachside suburbs of Tampa and St. Pete. But yeah, down here. I need to call my buddy and try and remember what island they used to swim out to and hang out. Yeah, but Florida. I'm from South Florida, Kendall, in fact. And we are flying across the most boring part of the United States today. How about that? Kansas City, Missouri, on this brutal hot day. At least it's still hot up here. All right, let's continue the rest of our. We said about 380. So we'll go ahead and set altitude 380. One thing in this add-on, I should say, I love are these old dials. love that. It's the little things in life. All right, 380. Let's press engage. VNAV. EPR, VNAV speed. Engines start firing up. We're in climb. So if I want it, well, we'll go full on climb, but really we could do like a climb one or something. Take a little off it. All right, everything's looking good here. Should I do some more announcements? I mostly do that so asshole doesn't bother us. Let's enjoy our climb. Can I see my no, not quite yet. I can almost see my extended family. The in-laws live out in this scary land here, Central Florida. I love my in-laws very much. I do. They're wacky, weirdo people. So is everybody. Okay, so we're climbing. Everything's looking good here. Let's go ahead and let everyone smoke and drink because we are celebrating our Tampa Bay Rays. Let's give drinks and a light meal. I think we're allowed. Not that on this stream we we're not so careful about things. I do things on here that probably get real life pilots fired. But on the other hand, I do try, one of the old things about this stream was the reason I started doing it. We can get all of our rest of our lights off. And we were just passing 18,000, so standard is set. Click here to set it over there. And reset our backup. Alright, cool. But yeah, I really kind of a aviation guy. I love jetliners, and I love flying on them because they take me to great places, but also enjoyable in itself. And yeah, so, but as you can see, these are very complicated machines. Have all these buttons. What could any of these buttons? Who knows what happens if I press that? Does the plane crash? Up here, crazy stuff, even crazier back here. But yeah, so I went on YouTube and found some interesting flight sim channels, and then eventually landed on one really excellent one. Is Blackbox 711, who is a real life pilot from Germany, who flew with Lufthansa for many years and is now retired, and does an excellent educational flight simming stream and teaches you how real world pilots fly these things, and it's a lot of fun. I met a really great community of flight sim folks, and it has been a wonderful hobby to me over the last however many years it's been since the pandemic. And yeah, in the process, when you're learning these aircraft, you screw up so much stuff, but you can only really track, at least in the moment, certain things. So I started recording on OBS just to see what I was potentially messing up, and it reveals lots of things. And so what I try and do is go back, see what kind of mistakes I'm making, and improve. And the other big part of that is that I like to fly on VATSIM, which I can't stream and VATSIM at the same time because I don't have the mental fortitude for it. But let me just go to our high VFR charts here and layers. I don't need that one anymore. Let's see what kind of weather we got going on. Everything's offshore. Alright, cool. Show own ship trail. Okay. Something's changed here. Where's my here it is. So right now here are a bunch of other flight sim folks. We have, it looks like no. Alright, so some coverage around the US. But yeah, these are other flight sim folk like me. Flying on VATSIM, which is a global online air traffic control network, and there are lovely controllers who jump on and will control airspace and airports and different ground and approach, and they're very professional, very real world. Here it is in Europe right now, always very packed. And yeah, it's a lot of fun to hear people crossing the pond doing like a 7-hour flight. So this is actually one of the longer flights for us. I usually fly like an hour max, and I might even, once we get to a certain point, zoom us ahead. But yeah, so I got really interested in flying on VATSIM. Another hobby of mine is just I really am interested in simulation as such. And when I was in college and in grad school, I studied philosophy, and
Sir, she was really allowing passengers to smoke.
yeah, he doesn't like when I let people smoke, but you know what? This is a team charter. If they want to have a cigar back there, by all means. But yeah, I love kind of simulated networks and online communities, and I used to do like digital humanities work, and ever since then I've always liked kind of these communities that come together and, you know, see what happens. So yeah, I enjoy VATSIM, and I've met lots of cool people and friends through it now. So yeah, that's kind of where my interest in flight sim lies. Flight simulators have also come a long way since the ones I used to play. The level of immersion now is just fantastic. I love the sounds. I think they look absolutely fantastic. They feel good. So in real life, quote unquote, here in front of my computer, they make so many fun toys. So if you are, you know, boys and toys, that is the millennial generation. We are not giving it up, and we don't care. We will have fun too, god damn it. And we will keep playing with our toys until we die. No. So yeah, so I've got kind of a neat flight sim set up here in my house with cool peripherals, and I'm a big fan. Oh cool, we got someone popped into chat here. Hey, my eyes are so bad, I'm an old guy. Santa Owns, hello, nice to meet you. I say AAA baseball team flight. Yeah, so I'm a huge Rays fan, and big baseball fan in general. And so what I like to do is, I fly the Rays charter flight on their travel days. So today's an off day. And since they are the best team in the American League, I'm not sure if you're a baseball fan. If you're a fan of a team, let me know. Even if you're an enemy team, it's okay. This is a friendly family. Well, we're not a family stream here, but we're a friendly stream. So let me know what baseball team you like. We can talk. All right, true. Hey, Braves. Braves are actually, well, for a long time, were the best team in baseball this season. Still are. I wonder. We could see if they. I'm not sure what they fly on. Actually, we can check. But yeah, the Braves. I had a long-term. Well, so I grew up in South Florida, so I really was a Marlin fan by birth. Well, not by birth. They came later. That's why I don't feel as committed to them. But yeah, the National League East. I had much rivalry with all the teams there, but now I'm an AL guy. But yeah, so one thing I like is I can kind of show you something kind of neat. So on Flight Radar, if it has me, if I'm logged in. So I've got some filters set up here for, yeah, here's our, well, here we go. This must be the Nationals, I'm guessing, flying out of Washington, or if Seattle was just playing the Nationals. This is their team plane. And Delta has like about a dozen of these. These are all converted into first class freighters, first class cabins inside. They're pretty cool. And so you can see here, look, the basketball team, Charlotte Hornets, departing back to Charlotte after the Spurs hand them a loss. So this is recent. This is the NBA playoffs. So Delta does a lot of flights for the NBA, the MLB, and NHL. But yeah, so this is kind of what when I don't know where to fly an X-plane, I fly along with my favorite baseball team. And if they're playing a day game, I like to watch the game in the top corner here. Without I can only show so much because otherwise the MLB might kill me. But oh, so you're new to X-plane? So first I'll say X-plane I absolutely love. I know it's considered like the not as great sim compared to Microsoft Flight Simulator, but to me this one is the one that feels real. Even though I have no idea what it feels like to fly a real plane. And that's not really my goal doing this per se. But see, so speaking of realism, what I don't like, watch our guy here. He's going to tell us that we can't let our people smoke.
It is customary to turn on the no smoking sign.
See, it's customary to turn on the no smoking sign, but we got baseball players back there. You know, I'm not gonna get in their way. Oh yeah, DCS is super cool, which is just a frontier that I haven't gone past yet. Because I know I'll get sucked in. And the other thing too is I try to, now I feel a responsibility to fly a little bit more. I don't know what kind of, fly a little bit more realistically when I can. Just because of the flight sim communities that I've ended up getting involved with. They're kind of, I wouldn't say serious, but you know, they try and do things how they do in real life. And right now, jets are very confusing to me. So hats off to you if you are doing good in DCS. Oh yeah, and yeah, Microsoft. Yeah, I hear you there. And I'll tell you what, the hardest thing for me is that at least in X-Plane, there's like a kind of a feel of physics. Like you can feel the plane moving, and I feel like that actually makes it easier for me in a weird way. Like I can't land in Microsoft Flight Simulator saved my life. And so just by the way, I'm terrible at landing in now. I mean, go back and watch some streams. I've improved, don't get me wrong, but been doing this enough years. But yeah. So I do I've gotten a little bit more comfortable with the communications, and I've done a handful of VATSIM flights, which are nerve-wracking at first, but can be really fun. But you do have to kind of really know your aircraft. And believe it or not, it's easier to fly these big airliners because, I mean, look, I've just been chatting with you now that we're still climbing here in cruise. But in a GA aircraft, it's a lot more complicated on VATSIM and doing all your squawking. That's your transponder, so they can see where he's where you are on the radar. But yeah, GA flying is super fun in X-Plane, and I'm also trying to do a little more of that too. I tend to listen to, like on those flights, since I really don't know what I'm doing in the GA flights, I like to just listen to some music and do some VFR flying. And yeah, I tend to fly around the United States mostly for now. Just because as I'm, practicing in the sim, I'm a little more familiar with it. Yeah, that's kind of the learning curve is in getting used to all this automation, and in those business jets like the Phenom, and the one that's really good if you want to check it out is the Challenger. yeah, at least you do get the it tells you what to do, which is nice. But the one thing that I started out doing was I don't know how much flight sim streams you watch, but all right, we're so if I'm being very professional, I would say, we have our alt alert. We're coming up to our top of climb here. I might ding the cabin. But yeah, I just started watching some flight sim streams, and if you want one that's really, really good, is Black Box 711. So he's a German pilot, and he was a real world pilot, and he flew big aircraft, and sort of the biggest of the big. And he has a great stream, and he does mostly airliner stuff, but he's done some VFR things. Oh, nice. The Alpha Light and Bravo. Yeah, that's probably a good choice for kind of a first sim setup, because you can go nuts. But I like the honeycomb stuff too. I have the Bravo. I think you've got your end game throttles there at least, because with those you can do anything. That's what I use now. I think they're the best. Yeah. Are you coming from joystick flying? But I do like the honeycomb stuff. I was going to get their rudders. Oh, nice. So, one kind of weird thing, I like to travel. It's kind of why I do this flight sim stream. This was like the inspiration for it, because I like to travel around the world. And during the pandemic, I couldn't, and so that's what got me into flight simming, actually. And I like flying too. So, but I one of the things I do is every year I take a trip to Europe, and it happened to coincide with one of the, I don't know if you're familiar with like the flight sim weekend that they have in Europe, and it's in the Netherlands, and basically like a flight sim convention. But man, if you like playing with flight sim toys, that's the place to be, my friend. And so I got to try the Moses stuff, and it was great. And I bet for DCS having the flight sticks is really nice. The Moses stuff is super nice. I thought about getting the yoke, the Moza force feedback yoke, because I do like to fly like these older Boeings, and they're conventional aircraft, so the force feedback does matter for trimming the aircraft, which you can't really feel, and even the fly-by-wire ones. Oh, really? Oh, that's too bad. DCS, I know, is really good with VR. And when I was at that flight sim weekend, I got to sit down in a full, like a really cool, still like a home setup for DCS, but it was a full Moza flight stick, the everything force feedback, their rudders, throttle, and they loaded me up in a jet, and at about 2,000 feet or less, and flying around canyons, and that was scary. But I didn't have the headset on, but they had the the Tobii eye tracker. I don't know if you've tried that, and that was really cool. But I haven't tried VR in either Microsoft or X-Plane because I'm usually in an airliner, and they kind of say it's better for when you're these are tougher in VR, I think, because you have to manipulate too many on-screen buttons and things like that. So but I will say I do have a my brother-in-law gave me a HP Reverb 2 or something when he upgraded to something. Well, actually, he was he was moving overseas and couldn't take it, and it was just going to sit in storage for 10 years or something, so he gave it to me. But I haven't really tried it out. And it was also right when Windows 11 came out, and they said they weren't going to be doing it anymore. Oh, cool. So I need to try out my Reverb. Yeah, I did do a little bit of research and saw that I can get the drivers and all that. Yeah. So Oasis, I'll have to write that down so that I know. But yeah, the VR experience is super cool. And believe it or not, one thing, I don't know if you've done this, one thing I want to use the VR for is, so amongst my friends, it's kind of a joke that I like all this flight sim stuff. I'm pretty lighthearted about it. But I do like to try and get people into it still. And one thing I was thinking that would be cool is if I could at least have my headset set up somehow, just so that if one of my buddies comes over, or even my wife or something, I can have them slap on the headset, and at least they can kind of like sit in the passenger seat with me. So I don't know how that goes, and then they could at least enjoy that, and I'll fly. Otherwise, they could just do like I could just give them the passenger view here. All right, let me quick and think about things for a second. How far out are we? All right, we got a ways to go. Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, Flight Simulator, especially in DCS, is such a cool experience. And you really get the feel for it in DCS.
Sir, it is customary to turn on
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, if anyone else watching, say hi. Feel free to follow. As you can tell, I'm a chatty guy. I'm not a pilot in real life or anything like that. I'm just a hobbyist enthusiast, and flight sim is a really relaxing hobby for me. And yeah, I am. I really am. Uh, and yeah, so part of this too is that I like to just relax and enjoy Earth from 30,000 feet or 38,000 feet today. And if I can talk to people while I'm doing it, all the best. So yeah, flight sim is my hobby, one of my hobbies. I'm a big baseball fan, so when I'm sitting here talking to myself, that's what I tend to talk about. And the other thing I have to say, I am a huge King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard fan. They are my favorite band, and a bunch of my streams I will just jam out to my favorite band and enjoy some flying. So that's the other thing I do. But yeah, I will get DCS someday. I'm just the other reason I started this stream too is that I'm a lazy guy. And so I needed some more motivation to even like come and play. And so one thing I had to do was just like, all right, I need some more reasons. So one of it was like, all right, I want to get better at flying these planes and landing instead of like crashing every time. Although I will say I rarely crash, but I land very hard. And I've been known to set brakes on fire in certain add-ons. But I started recording myself just in OBS. Like I downloaded OBS just to see like what the hell was I doing wrong in my approaches? Like why did that go so bad? And then I could see it was like, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. You know, I forgot this checklist, I didn't do that. I totally went off the glide slope, blah blah blah. And so I started watching those back, but then watching the streams back was just like me not talking. And as much as I like watching flight simulation streams, you know, it was like, well, I want at least something going on. So I started playing some King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard in the background so I could listen to music while watching my replay stream to see what I messed up. And then, yeah, I was just writing down some things that I was screwing up on all my flights. And just tried to improve on it the next time. And, yeah, and then it was like, hey, you know, I am Chatty Cathy, as you said, so. It was like, well, if someone wants to come pop in. So I do really, by the way, appreciate you stopping in and saying hi. Yeah. So I will say, when I first started doing flight sim, I was... Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind too. You know, talking to myself is cool too. I consider this also a little like, you know, I don't mind if this is like a little live journal for myself. It's a healthy thing to say what's on your mind. You know, when I started this stream, I didn't start it during the pandemic, but I started doing flight sim much more during the pandemic because I don't know what your situation was, but man, I was just... the lockdown was not my friend, and so this was a really great release. And I don't know, there's just, I think, things that are healthy to do, and just getting immersed in a hobby, and yeah, you know, journaling is one of those things that people recommend doing. And I used to love to write, but I work in publishing, so I'm a writer and an editor, and I'm all kinds of things, but I hadn't like written anything in many years, and so and yeah, you know, journaling is something that someone recommended as something to do, and I was like, you know what, let me just do all my favorite things all at once and see how that goes. And it's been real fun because I can improve at the hobby. I get to listen to music, and talk about things I like.
It is customary to turn on the no smoking sign.
Alright, I'll turn on the damn no smoking sign. Excuse me. So I would say this stream is fairly lighthearted because I do also like flying low and slow around cities, and I will fly under the Eiffel Tower with you at some point. And that's what I started doing, like everyone else. I mean, so I love to travel. So when I first got this sim, I was flying, I jump into Cessna because that's all I knew, that's what everyone does. And I would just fly like a crazy man over New York City and Paris and Berlin, all these spots, Japan and Tokyo. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then just, I'm kind of interested in engineering, and I'm a nerd. So once you start kind of trying to, once you sit in one of these big airliners, and a jet too. I know in DCS, I mean, the jets are so cool. And I actually have family in the military, and they fly jets and helicopters, actually. I'm curious what helicopter you like to fly in DCS. And yeah, I love just aviation. Aviation museums are super cool. And yeah, and I just got interested in like how this stuff works, and in some ways, these are some of, still to this day, the turbine engine is like a modern marvel of engineering. You ever watch Modern Marvels? I don't know how old you are. It's a great show. They have all the episodes on YouTube, I think. If you like old documentaries. But yeah, I was interested in just the technology behind these things. We sit in the back and have no idea what's going on, and I wanted to learn a little more. And also, since I like aviation, I used to do plane spotting when I was younger. And I'm an older guy, not that old. I'm in my 40s, for what it's worth. But just to say that when I was younger, you could like drive onto any international airport and like park your car next to the runway. It was in the before time, in the long, long ago. So I used to really enjoy that, and yeah, it's just kind of spiraled into it more once you get to an adult. Yeah, totally, man. Me too. DCS really gives you that sensation. And so that's why I've been thinking about the force feedback stuff a little more. Oh wow, that's really interesting. Yeah, I know it. Hey, I have a really close family friend with Parkinson's, and yeah, I know he made the best out of the situation. And yeah, it's tough with tremors, which also runs in my family actually. When you can do stuff like this, it yeah, it really helps kind of set your mind in a different space. And one of my friends in the flight sim community, he has mobility issues, and I think the flight sim for him too is another kind of one of these ways of getting out of it. Getting out of your own skin sometimes is nice. And just by the way, I kind of studied a lot of cognitive science in school. For philosophy, believe it or not. But a lot of stuff about brain world, I'm really interested in that kind of stuff. And I don't know if you ever read like Oliver Sacks, The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat. If you haven't, it's a really, really cool book, but about just kind of how brains work, how our bodies work with our brains in the world. And it's one thing that's really neat is about how I mean, in a way, you can trick yourself into feeling different. And so it talks a lot about phantom limb syndrome, which is like, you know, people who have amputations and then they can still feel their arms, things like that. But there's all kinds of stuff you can do, and a lot of it is kind of, you know, using the visual or using technology to kind of give yourself virtual experiences that can kind of do stuff for you. So that's really awesome. I love hearing about stuff like that. And I will just say, as a fellow human, I mean, flying is a very cool experience. So there's a cool yeah, hey, if you want to make fun, I can make fun too. Sometimes that's the best antidote, you know, for remedy. But there's a really cool stream. It's another guy who I met through the Black Box community, and his name is he's Fly Lilo, and he's had, I think he was born with a degenerative disease, and so he has I believe he's quadriplegic, and he's got this really cool flight sim setup, and I'll tell you what, he flies better than me, but he can use his head and his eyes, and he has dexterity in his hands, and so I think he's able to manipulate some other controls, and he has a flight sim stream that he does, and I think part of a little community of folks with disabilities who enjoy flight sim. So definitely check that out, Fly Lilo. And he's a cool guy in the if you don't watch the Black Box 7-Eleven stream, he pops in there. He's in the Discord there. And so we've talked, and the other thing about it, he's an X-Plane guy too. So if you like X-Plane or want to get more into X-Plane, his streams have X-Plane related content. One thing I will say too, I'm on a slightly longer flight than I usually do. Where the hell are we? I mean, we're getting there. Slowly but surely. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for stopping in. Feel free to come and lurk and talk or not. Yeah, I appreciate it. I really do. Nice talking to you. And but yeah, I'm flying to Kansas City, where the Rays are going to be playing the Royals. They're a really good team. But one thing I will do is take a quick look. I'm going to go over to our plan page here. Go to legs. And I am going to start cycling through here a little bit to see. So our top of descent is near this Sierra Golf Foxtrot VOR. So one thing I'm going to do is grab that marker, go to our fixed page. So that's a VOR of some kind. And let me just go ahead and give us let's give us like a 40-mile ring and like a 100-mile ring. Okay. That way, if we go back to our legs page, if by the time we kind of get our way closer, here we are, Arnie, Big B, Mem. That must be Memphis. But yeah, just so we have an idea when we have to start thinking about some of our planning, and we can start looking at some of the charts. So yeah, let me open up Navigraph. Let's do a little sit rep. Alright, here's our flight. We are on our way. Oh, blood. Huh, I wonder what that is. They got the cool, cool name. Oh, Montgomery, Alabama. Important American city in the civil rights battle. So as I said, in my real life, I am I work in publishing, academic publishing, and I do a lot of work with historians right now, and that is my day job. And that's what I will be doing the rest of the week, unfortunately. I have a great job. I love it. I really do. But I'd much rather be flight simming, you know? Alright, so quick look at what this is. A pretty, well, I think there's a standard arrival routing. Nothing crazy we have to look out for on this one. Just get down to 12,000, and then we'll do a loop around Kansas City. So as I mentioned, I do like to travel. So and I live in the Midwest now for work, and I do like to travel around the Midwest. Kansas City is a little bit out of the way. But I would like to go to Kansas City one day. I've heard it's actually, you can have a good time there. And it is a nice baseball park, so I would go there. Alright, so we are flying over the south. Let's see what we can see. It's a brutal hot day in the US. Some sort of heat thunderdome thing happening. Alright, so we're like just due north of Pensacola. I have spent time up in the Panhandle of Florida as well. Tallahassee is a pretty cool town for a minute. Florida State University, I visited friends there when I was in college. And then my extended family lived, there's military, this is where they learned to fly. In Pensacola. And now they joke that I might be the better pilot. Because I haven't, at least of a plane. But yeah, we're flying over a lot of nothing though. No offense. The South, Mississippi and Tennessee. Tennessee's beautiful. Georgia, okay. Alabama. Okay, let's go back to map mode here. And now we have our rings at least when we can start having to think about stuff. How about let's tell them they can have entertainment now. Alright, everything looking nominal. Let's take a look at our engines. Nominal. Looking good. Alright, great. So one thing I have been thinking is that so I have been getting comfortable in the 757, and so I have been landing well lately, so I'm like, I'm in a little ways scared to switch aircrafts. But I'm thinking, I kind of wanted to fly an Airbus again, so I think and I haven't done my Airbus setup totally yet. So I'm thinking Airbus might be coming soon, and I will, now that I have a dedicated sim setup, it's not as big of a deal between changing it out for, you know, doing work or non-sim related gaming. Alright, we are looking good. So, let's enjoy the view for a moment. I will be right back just to check on some real life things. And hey, since I teased it, I might as well play a little of my favorite band. Where are we going? Kansas City? Is it Ma? Well, let's see, where's the closest they played? It's probably going to play in Kansas City, Missouri. Have they played in the state of Missouri? Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee, Chicago, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Omaha, a little too far. I actually do like this Arkansas. So, want to enjoy a little King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard? I will be right back. Bach. So, I am very proud of my Tampa Bay Rays. This man right here, Junior Caminero, is on quite the tear. 7 home runs the last 6 games. I'm gonna get banned for this. Boom. 463. Which is crazy because that's his longest. Yeah, 22 years old. He's a real good guy. I'm really happy for him. He deserves all this. Wow. So first of all, in baseball news, let's get the bad news out of the way. And I address this to all my Canadian viewers. So, no one. But you embarrassed yourself by voting. No, you didn't embarrass yourself. You embarrassed your team for voting them into the All-Star game. Because there's nothing worse to these athletes than winning an award that they know they shouldn't. And yeah, this isn't a sour grapes thing. I really don't care about the All-Star game at the end of the day. But, I mean, George Springer. Yeah. I mean, that says enough. Or Alejandro Kirk. Your best shot with Vlad, who I love, by the way. But he's not an all-star this year. Now, so now the all-star ballot is a whole mess. I will be doing my part and voting for Junior as much as I can, 5 times a day, every day. So yeah, anyone watching, let's get Junior. He deserves it. That'd be a great year. But importantly, the Rays 48-33, so 81 games played of a 162 game season. I'm very bad at math, but I can do at least that. So we're halfway, and we are atop the AL East. Who would have thought? It's so weird. I was down. I had no idea what to expect from this team going into the season, and it did not start out well, but they really came back, and now they're sitting on top of the AL East, and I'm pretty sure they have the best record in the AL. Let's just say they do. Oh, cool. Ooh, Devil Rays, a Hebrew shirt? That's kind of cool. This Venezuelan heritage shirt, or jersey, looks really sweet. So yeah, Junior, way to go, buddy. Yandy and John Aranda also. Yandy got hurt. I hope he's okay, but he seems okay. His shoulder's alright. Or he's been working on it. John Aranda having a game, having a year. My very good friend Dave is a minor league baseball Man. Advanced scout. He would be. But he called John Aranda from one of the miners. He texted me. He said, hey, there's this guy, John Aranda. Keep an eye out. And he was right. I told him he's going to have to... I'm putting that on his gravestone. He'd appreciate it too. But yeah, the Rays are playing great baseball. And so they've been an absolute joy to watch lately. But Kansas City, there's some tough outs in this lineup. Ooh, should we see how much tickets cost? You guys want to go to the Kansas City game? Alright, well, where's my favorite place to sit? First base. Usually in these are kind of my favorite places to sit. Alright, so I can cram myself third row. Here's our view. Hey, look. Baseball stadium simulator. I love going to MLB baseball games. Minor league too, actually. If you don't have a major league baseball park in your neighborhood, but you do have a minor league team, I really recommend going. I mean, you can have so much fun at minor league games. The product is pretty good. I mean, look, it's minor league baseball, whatever, but the minor league baseball is putting a lot into their just everything, and so every time I've gone to a minor league game, they've just been really fun experiences. The stadiums are really nice. They're intimate. You can sit usually anywhere you want. Usually inexpensive. But yeah, this is we were gonna go out to Kansas City to watch the Rays. I parked myself here, I think. And supposedly the whole area around the stadium is pretty interesting. They've built like this almost like, I don't know, Southern European inspired like downtown area here. Do the flyby. Although I'd have to investigate the shade situation. Well, it's a night game, so we don't have to worry too much. So how much are like, here, if we wanted to get on TV, I can't buy this. Alright, if we want to get on TV, what's it cost us? $200? Although I'll tell you what, you know where's a fun place to watch baseball games from? So, usually wherever well, those are the boxes, but so I'm just picking this because it'll be close to where I'm thinking about. No, it's not. Oh, I'm picking all the rooms. This one? Yeah. So I love baseball parks that, I don't know if Kansas City is. It's probably a traditional stadium, yeah, because the box is right up against it. That's what I was trying to see what's going on. But down at like Lone Depot, down in Miami, I really like that stadium because it's like an open air walk on this mezzanine deck. And so you can, it's really fun. You can just walk around or go around the stadium and watch the whole game, but you don't have to sit in your seat the whole time, and you can just post up on these bar rails and have a beer, have a hot dog. Actually, it is nice to sit. I mean, this looks like club box of some kind seats, these are really great seats too. Alright, well, if we wanted to go to the Rays game. Alright, coming up to Memphis. Memphis is the FedEx hub, which we've flown into a couple times. Because since the Boeing 757 is my favorite aircraft, I really love and because most of them, I don't know if most of them, but at least a good portion are cargo. And I've done some spotting, and I see lots of FedEx and UPS 757s, and it's actually just one of my favorite liveries, UPS and FedEx, really ever since I was a kid. I have a thing for logistics, I guess. Delivery trucks. Boys with toys. That's just what I amount it all to. But yeah, so I do fly into that Memphis hub when I'm doing my little kind of enjoyable flights. My little local Midwest cargo flights. Alright. What do we need to do here? So, everything's looking good. Plenty of time. What time is it? 800 miles. 1800. 1900. Oh, about an hour to go. Nominal. The one thing about this add-on is that it is hard to get over to the Copilot EFIS. Well, you can go way out. There's really no weather over the US, but I could turn our weather radar on. And again, I don't even know if the weather radars are working in X-Plane right now. That's ground returns. Keep it there. But yeah, so I'm curious to see how the Rays do in this series at Kansas City. I'm excited about this series this week. I wish I wasn't so busy this week. I'm probably going to miss the day game. Oh, that's a Thursday? Let's check the schedule. Night game. Night game. Oh, okay. All night games. And then the Rays are going out west further. Or I guess south. Play the Houston Astros. So yeah, one of the reasons I want to jump back into the Airbus is I might start doing some European flights and actually probably do a couple in preparations for some European VATSIM control. Some of the people I've met, we can do shared flights in like the TOLUS A320, A319, which I have, and that could be kind of a next little frontier to do. And so I might get back in the Airbus, since I have my new sim set up. I haven't really, have I done the Airbus rig with the new setup? But I finally got my rudders set up, and but I don't think I've done the joystick. Oh, hey, Santa Owns, welcome back. Just been looking at baseball stadium seats in Kansas City. It would be a long drive for me from my current location, but I like to check out MLB ballparks as well. I've been to a lot of them. And so if I can't do it in real life, at least virtually, I'll go to some stadiums. But we are about an hour away flying over Memphis. And I was just saying in X-Plane that I'm in this FlightFactor 757, which I really like. I really should. I've been thinking about doing a helicopter, which I have no idea how to fly, but I will. I'll give it a shot someday. But yeah, I usually fly. I really like this 757, even though, you know, if you talk to like the flight sim aficionados, they might say that it's not the greatest because some of its flight director logic is not quite right, and it does some weird things. But I can live with it for the kind of flying that I'm doing. I'm not like doing complex failures in the aircraft. Doing this to relax, not to freak myself out with engine failures and stuff. Okay, the Bell 407. I will look into that. But yeah, I do fly into Memphis from time to time here. Chinook. Ooh. Yeah, so the C-130, some of the airline sim friends, guys that I know, guys and gals, whatever, that I know, they have flown in that C-130, and that at least looks a little more like what I'm used to here. And it looks like a really cool add-on. And some of the missions they're doing look really fun. But yeah, with these, getting used to the automation is a whole thing. But you know, you slowly get into it. Yeah, I joke that I cosplay as a, you know, if I could have lived a different life, what would it have been like? I could have been a FedEx or UPS cargo pilot who flies back and forth between like Cincinnati and Memphis. Sounds boring, but you know, I don't know. But yeah, FedEx has their hub in Memphis, so I actually, in plane spotting, I like to do, so I live in the Midwest and I'm kind of close to a bunch of all these airports. So O'Hare, I've even been out to Chicago Rockford, which is the UPS hub. Done Indianapolis. Cincinnati is like, I think an Amazon. I think Amazon hub is Cincinnati. No kidding. So you grew out, you're an Illinois person. So I went out there because I visited friends in Chicago, and I was, no kidding. Well, hey, look, this is like a kismet then. When I went out to go to Rockford, I don't know, is it international? It's KRFD. Oop, not nearest. Let's see. Kilo. Is it like Charlie? No. Foxtrot Delta? Let's see. Yeah, Chicago Rockford. Airport. Yeah, so here are the UPS hub here. And I was on a trip kind of heading out that way, so I decided to come check it out. And there really wasn't that much around here, and I didn't stay in Rockford very long, but I was able to watch some UPS flights land. What kind of stuff were you doing at UPS, if I may ask? Because, yeah, right now we're about to fly over the big Memphis FedEx hub. Ah, interesting. Yeah, I know. I thought it was closer to Chicago because they keep calling it Chicago. Rockford. And I'm like, oh, it must be one of the suburbs of Chicago. But no, it's, you know, you're way out there. Oh, okay. Yeah, when I was growing up, I wanted to be a UPS driver. That was like my, when I was a kid, what I wanted to be when I grew up. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so, I know in, I'm kind of in Indiana now, and I'm pretty sure there's both a big FedEx and UPS, you know, they have hubs here. And a lot of people work for the UPS and FedEx here. Yeah, where is KMM? Close. Maps. Yeah, I would say as a kid, I just liked the big brown truck. So now in the sim, I fly the big brown aircraft. And they have, that's the one thing, they have these, they fly a bunch of these 757s. Yeah, it's a big bummer. Nice. Yeah, here's Memphis. Memphis, Tennessee. I think this is the airport over here. Okay, it's right below us. So yeah, this is all the UPS parking, or UPS FedEx parking up here. Reset my heading. Yeah, and I know there's Amazon around here too, and it's yeah, lots of. I mean, they claim to be hiring warehouse workers, but yeah, plenty is shutting down all over the states. Olive Branch, Missouri, huh? Or, yeah, Mississippi, thank you. M-I. M-S. M-O. Well, you know, Grandpa Simpson doesn't recognize Missouri as part of the Union if you're a Simpsons fan. So, I've been to Memphis for a so before I was a flight sim nerd, I was a Magic the Gathering nerd, and I've played in a Magic the Gathering tournament in Memphis. Yeah, we're good Americans putting our showing off our geography skills. I was educated down here, and so you know, I only know so much. Well, hey, that's a big feat. Kids these days don't know cursive, you know. How will they ever get by? How will they ever get by? Yeah. Well, good. You know, hey, we got to stick together. I have not really been out, you know, like most people. The central United States, I have not done much of. Yep, I hear you. After sitting, or after flight simming for too long, too. Although I will say, oh, no kidding. Well, Austin, well, how about this for snow? So, as I told you, I'm a Florida man. Not that Florida man. I'm a more sane Florida man. But you know, I went 20 years without seeing snow ever in my life. And then the first time I ever seen snow was I went out to spend time in Utah, and we drove up to the top of a mountain where it was 100 degrees. Hey, Florida man could not fly a 757. If he did, he would be breaking through the door with an alligator in one hand and methamphetamines, and he'd crash the plane. So yeah, I'm not that Florida man. I'm the refined Florida man. I got out. But the first time I saw snow, ironically, was I was camping, and it was like 100 something degrees at sea level. And then you know what? You're probably right. You're probably right. It would, I mean, the hyper focus you'd get. You know, you would just be in it. You wouldn't be 1 degree off from your flight path. Although you mentioned the 747, it's a that's the add-on that people say is well, he might be yeah, repairing the brakes or taking them. Might be taking your brakes off your car. What do you think you could get for some 757 brake pads? Probably a lot, actually. precious, non-precious metals, you know. There's plenty of good stuff in here. But yeah, so at least this Florida man who doesn't collect metals for resale on the black market, that's the first time I saw snow in 100-degree Utah, and then we drove up to the top of a mountain, and there was snow up there, and I couldn't believe it. And then when I moved to the Midwest, the day after I moved here was the worst polar vortex snow that had hit the Midwest in like 20 years or something like that. And that's what I thought I was moving into. And yeah, I'll say I didn't regret it immediately because the snow was so fun and novel. So both my wife and I really thought it was beautiful and we loved it. But, you know, I've since come around to snow. And, are you kidding me? That's a very pleasant sound. Unless, how old are you? Were you walking 10 miles? Were you walking 5 miles to school when you were a kid in the snow? Or are you going to tell me you're that old? Well, okay, since I only got to enjoy it, I'll tell you two things about the snow. At least I don't have to. Oh, both ways. Okay, both ways. Your house is both down in the valley and up there, huh? Well, so my whole family grew up in New York, and so they were used to snow, or at least some kind of snow. Now you're in, if you grew up in Rockford or in that part of Midwest, though. Okay, so you're just the classic old guy here, shaking your fist. The kids don't know these days. Uphill both ways to school in the morning. I had to walk to school in like 100-degree tropical heat. Oof. Yeah, 18 inches of snow is no joke. The one thing I will say I'm lucky is that my city is really good about about plowing, and for most of my life up here in the Midwest, I'm mostly working from home, or had casual enough office situation where if it was a bad snow, I could just bundle up. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's what I do like about it. I won't lie. You know, the other thing about this stream is you'll notice what I'm not doing right now. Monday at 2 in the afternoon is working. Now, just between you and me, Santa Owens, and anyone who asks, I am very busy today. I have so much work I have to catch up on, so only call me if it's important. Okay. That's what I tell everyone. And then I recommend everybody. You just tell everybody every Monday that you're busy. You are just so busy at work. Because, and then I try and take, now look, I'm lucky. Because again, I have a good work setup situation. I don't have to work today if I don't want to, even though I should be. But I take Mondays off as like, I say it's for religious reasons. So Mondays are my Sabbath when I fly FlightSim and relax. Have a nice long spend time with the dog in an empty house. My poor wife does have to go to work. But this way, my phone has like not made one ding. It's fantastic. So hey, if you were getting started in X-Plane, have you messed around in it much? Or are you thinking about it or just getting started in it? Because it's still, these flight simulators, half the hobby is setting up your computer so it actually works. Because I can let you know, I run, yeah, that's your, so, don't do anything I say or do, ever. But, yeah, are you using the, like the built-in air traffic control? Hey, everyone, hey, you gotta start somewhere. You gotta start somewhere, and if that's falling into buildings, then, you learn. Yeah. So there is like a built-in ATC here in X-Plane that is supposedly pretty good, believe it or not. But I don't use that. Um, I I don't know if you do VATSIM or I mean you don't, as you mentioned, because you're mostly DCS. But um, I'm not on VATSIM right now, because I can't do two things at the same time yet. Soon, maybe I will. But 'cause we're somewhere over here. I know. Where the hell are we? Anyway, VATSIM is like the online network. So these are real folks here. Oh, we would have had control at Memphis today. Well, I can do that. I can't do anything airline related. Like, see, I'm talking to you. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna miss my top of descent. See, I gave myself lines though, so you're not gonna get me today. I have over 80 miles before I have to think about something. Um, but oh, but anyway, what I was saying is on VATSIM, this is like the kind of map, and so you can see some other aircraft flying around and people who are in control or controlling. And this has been pretty fun. So, but doing this is where I started to learn some radio communication. Oh yeah, that's why I only fly cargo on a VATSIM. My virtual passengers would not be happy with me. But when I started doing this, that's when I started learning more of like the radio communications, and that's what all the squawk stuff is. So that's like set your transponder. So like on the big aircraft, this is your transponder. And this is telling you, this is in the aircraft, telling you it shows your location in space for the radar. And so this is like when you're the code that they can see you with, and they might tell you a different code. So when he was saying squawk 14 whatever 1400, that was this. And then you can report your position, you can report your position and altitude. And then in these big planes, you have a traffic advisory and a traffic advisory resolution advisory. And this will show other aircraft on your nav display here. So like if we were on VATSIM and someone was flying, you'd see them here. And if they get within a certain thing, you'll get the traffic advisory. It'll yell at you. But in real life, if you get a traffic advisory, resolution advisory, it'll tell you something like, turn left, something, whatever. And I'm pretty sure in real life, if it tells you that, you have to do it. Otherwise, you get fired when you land. Yeah. Okay, so I have not seen Flight yet, that movie. And mainly because my wife really wants to watch it, and she works in that field. She works with people with Florida men, put it that way. And so, yeah, it's one of those movies that's on the list, and I can't believe I haven't seen it. But we did watch, we watched the Sully movie. And I don't know if are you an HBO man? Have you watched The Rehearsal? And I love Denzel, so I should watch it this weekend. So if you know about, the Sully who landed an A320, I think it was, in the Hudson River, that when they got birds, both dual engine failure right after takeoff, which is like the worst nightmare scenario. Which, if you want to watch my last stream, my takeoff, I don't have failures on, but a bunch of birds flew into my plane. I would have died in real life if that was, or if I had failures on. But the rehearsal is this absolutely insane. If you know who Nathan Fielder is a comedian, totally wacky guy, and he did like prank kind of hidden camera shows for a long time. But he's got this show, The Rehearsal, on HBO, and the second season is all about him doing aviation, and it's absolutely out of this world, bizarre, crazy, insane. And I can't recommend it enough. I'd say more, but it's like everything is the spoiler. You just want to be surprised. And it's a comedy, but also kind of real. So if you have any interest in aviation safety generally, you should watch that. And you will laugh, you will cry, you will cringe, you will be impressed. But oh, one thing I was going to ask: do you have any of the any other kind of add-ons in X-Plane yet? Because one thing I will like really recommend is you get this thing. Oops. X-Plane map enhancement. So this I get rid of my face thing. Not talking much baseball here. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, feel free to come and go. No thing like that. But if you don't have map enhancement, excuse me, definitely recommend. It's free. If it depends, you do have to, let it have access to your computer and stuff. But a lot of people do use it and recommend it. Yeah, this at least gives you all the good ground visuals. And I know with X-Plane that was like a big knock on it from people. X-Plane was always the ugly sim. But honestly, I think now X-Plane looks really good. I love when there's these low clouds like this. Yeah, go ahead. I've got my list too, my main ones. But man, that is the learning curve of getting into flight sim, is all the extras. And at least a lot of it is free. I'll say the one thing I have not gone down the rabbit hole on, because I just won't, I'll buy the plane add-ons, but at least for scenery, I feel like if I buy one high fidelity airport, then that's going to ruin it for me, and I'm going to be buying more airports, and I don't need to have another, flow of money going to flight simulation. But here, while you're doing that, we can actually see. I told you I'm not going to let you distract me here, because I'm very serious about this. All right, so Kilo Mike, Kilo Charlie. Yep, Charles B. Wheeler. Yeah. Yeah, this sounds all like what I have. Yeah, do you have the Sim Heaven? The big kind of scenery regional downloads? I think that's like the two like most important ones. Yeah, Sim Heaven and map enhancement. And then yeah, I have all these too. This is a AviTab that I really like AviTab. I can just have it on my mouse for the charts. I don't know if you do much. You sound like you like to just have fun flying around. Are you going to the charts much? Because this is very serious. All right, well, you're gonna learn. I'm a very serious flight simmer, so get ready to see how it's done. I mean, let me get some of my charts out. Yeah, Navigraph. That's what I have. That's this Navigraph charts, which I mean, to me, this is one of those ones. If you're doing like quote unquote real world ops, whatever. So as you can tell, I'm sarcastic about the serious stuff. Yeah. This, I will say, having the charts, what are these? The Jeppesen charts. They're pretty indispensable, but you can get the free Lido ones, I think, in Microsoft Flight Simulator, but 2024. But yeah, I really like Navigraph. Ah, I see. Well, I think I think flying these big aircraft is a challenge in its own right. You're about to see me be very challenged to what I'm doing. All right, so we already got our Tiger arrival. Sorry, I'm gonna get rid of Rockford here. Our approach is, what is our approach today? Runway 19. It's a little windy. So we'll do the ILS. And I'm gonna be talking through this stuff just because I need to talk through it for myself. So you'll learn a little something. I mean, still don't do anything I say. My God. But it could get you up and running at least. This is like, so I also enjoy train simulators. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it really does. But it's like the challenge is in, can you do it perfectly? How good can you get it? I always like to say my litmus test for how well I'm flying or not is a couple things. So if I'm not online and I'm landing, all right. Sure, buddy. I like the confidence. All I will say, to be a pilot, that's I respect real world pilots because you have to think that you are the best. That's like, if you ever do go watch the rehearsal that I told you about, he does the whole thing about kind of pilot mentality. And you do have to be confident. Like, if you're flying this thing and you just have, you are a captain. You have to, like, take control and be confident. That's something we can learn from flight simulation. So, what we will be doing, so we're approaching the top of descent here. Exactly. I am the captain now, and I am just as scary as that guy. Talk another Tom Hanks movie. So we're coming up to the Springfield VOR, which is probably what's dialed in here. Yep. We are, so if I can look at the VOR and I can see we are 32 DME. So about 32 miles away, but directly from that. And our top of descent is coming up. So usually when you're like 40 miles from your top of descent is when you start planning what you're actually doing. And for us, this is going to be pretty easy. All we have to do, according to the charts, is expect we have to be at 12,000 feet by Tiger. And then if we were being good boys, we would read what we're doing. So we're going to the Kansas City downtown Wheeler Airport, runway 19. So from over Tiger on Mike Charlie India, the radial 135 to slab. That's this. Where's Tiger? That's this radial. 315 out to slab, and then on heading. All right, so we'll do like this is kind of like a very typical. I guess kind of almost like a VOR approach where you can do this at like any airport essentially if you're in like a VFR aircraft, which is like, all right, you know where you're landing, you know where the airport is. So what you do first is fly to the airport and overfly it, and then go out a couple miles, and then you fly downwind, and then turn base, and then turn on final. And that's like how you can always orient yourself to the runway. And for other airports, you know, they're not going to be like this one. This is a smaller airport, but it kind of has that traditional. So this is a cool little approach actually, because we got to fly over the city, do a loop around the airport, and do our approach. Expect radar vectors, so we'll just give ourselves radar vectors once we get on this heading here. So the approach is super easy. We're just going to get down to 12,000 feet, and then for our approach, this is the approach chart. So we're going to be doing the ILS runway 19. This is our instrument landing system, which is basically like a beam that shoots out and it can grab us. I don't know how familiar you are with that, but it's essentially like a tractor beam that we can tune into. So that's one thing we'll do now is I'll go down here and, excuse me. Okay, yeah, that's right. You can do ILS landings in DCS. That's right, because DCS is totally, yeah. So I will dial in our ILS 109.9. And our inbound course today is 192. Guess this way is technically faster. All right, inbound course 192. Let's familiarize ourselves with this approach. Top of descent is coming up very soon. So, I told you, I'm not going to let you distract me. So, top of descent coming up, that's what this is telling me here, reset MCP altitude. So the plane will tell me to. So we need to get down to 12,000. I'm just going to go ahead and go down to 12,000. Yeah, so I'm using my, mouse to look around. On my yoke, I have kind of my, pan views set. And then I have in the world in front of me here, I don't know if you're familiar with all the wind control stuff. It used to be wind wing. Yeah, see? Hey, at least I started the descent. We're down there. All right, 12,000. Put it in the box. There we go. All right. We're going to be good too. We're even resetting our heading there so we know where we're going. Oh, nice. Yeah, I like all the wind. I don't want to get sued, right? Wind control. They changed their name to. But so I have the I forget the names of it, but I have both the Airbus and the Boeing panels. I have the 737 Boeing 737 panel, and then also the EFIS panel that goes with it. And I wrote a Mobi Flight. Mobi Flight is really good to get your peripherals working. This and so I have set up so it works in the 757. FT set up for the F-18. Yeah, the DCS stuff they have is so cool. That I will say is very, very cool. All right, so we kind of know what we're doing in our approach. We need to do some other stuff. The elevation at the airport is 750 feet. So I'm going to go up here. I never did that to set our pressure so our passengers' heads don't explode. 750. Drag required already. I'm gonna clear that. We don't really need the drag, but I'll put some speed brakes out. A little bit of speed brakes here. Get us down to... Curious, why did you... Oh, you know why we have such a slow descent? Because fuel is expensive today, if you can believe that. Do a recall check. So you did distract me a little bit. I didn't do something. So off to the side, I did my performance calculations for this aircraft. And at this airport, we have not the longest. We have 6,827 feet, so about 2,000 meters. So I'm gonna do a flaps 30 landing, 125 VREF speed, or V approach speed. We've got that dialed in. And we're gonna want to brake fairly hard. I don't know where the baseball teams park, but we will check. Hangars, fuel. Because I do have that, the Rays flight I have. So I don't know if we exit left or right on the runway. We'll do a brake 2. And yeah, so we'll check the altimeter setting. That's the, let's see what the weather is like here at Wheeler. Oops. Let's refresh. All right, so, ooh. All right, well, lucky you today. It's windy, and I'm no good at crosswind landings, but this is in our face, so that could be okay. So this will be a fun landing. And for demonstration purposes, just for you, I will land no matter what. But I will announce if we're supposed to go around. Because I told you, the litmus test for me is, would I get fired if I did this in real life? So gusting 30, we can see, we got some scattered clouds, and holy crap, is it hot today? 32C, Jesus, the 2981. So I'm gonna go ahead here and set our arrow 2981, or pre-select our barrow, and you click this little screw here. It sticks it in on the co-pilot side. We'll wait for that one. So okay, we're gonna have to mentally prepare for a windy landing. We are descending. Let's do a descent checklist real quick, and then I will oops, wrong thing. All right, checklist, descent. Pressurization is checked. I did a recall check. I did set our auto brakes. We'll go auto brakes 2 today. Landing data, we have our speeds are set. And approach briefing. Here we are. Here's our approach briefing. We're going to descend to 12,000. We'll stay at 12,000, and then we need to get down to, let's go look in our plan mode here. Go to our legs page. So now I'm in the flight computer here. And let's see. And so I'm pressing here to step through the flight computer. Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is kind of, I'm doing it the best I can. Like I said, not a real guy, but this is some of the basics at least. So once we get down to 12,000, to intercept the ILS, we're looking for this Zulu, Oscar, Delta, Gamma, Alpha, Zodga waypoint. But Corvi looks like Covri looks like the first one. So that's 3,000 feet it wants you to be at. And that's when we'll start actually picking up that localizer signal. So it looks like that's the waypoint that we have. So what we'll do, and since we're kind of low, you know, it's just you and me here, we can do whatever we want. I'll start descending us down to 3,000 feet and vector us around to this covery. Yeah. And I'll let the I'll intercept the localizer, and then we can also intercept the glide slope, and that'll take us down. And usually, what I do is like, yeah, it's very similar, I think, and it'll basically take us. I mean, this plane can auto land. I don't think this airport is capable of it. Yeah, ILS Cat 1, I don't think it can do full auto land. So the ILS is like a different kind of frequency. So we have like our navigation frequencies, and we have our VOR frequencies, which are like the these radio stations. And then the ILS is on its own high-powered station. And that's like the, you know, like at the airports you can see the ILS array. It's like the big kind of array of antennas that are at the end of the runway. And it points out, you know, with that glide slope, this thing. So it shoots out from here. And your plane on approach mode, at least in these jetliners, will go around. Yep. So one thing I do here is, since I have the ILS plugged in, once we get close enough, it'll show me some information down here about this ILS, and that'll keep me, I can use that as a reference for my distances and my descents and things like that. But basically what we're planning on doing is we're going to be flying over the airport and turning, we're going to be flying the reciprocal, basically, of this, flying outbound. And we'll get down to 3,000 feet, and I'll turn and just intercept the localizer and let it take us basically down to about 2,000 feet. And then I'll take over the thrust myself. And when I get close to the minimums, which is like the minimum you have to make the decision to land, and that's shown down here. So basically at 1,000 feet, you have to decide, and that's 250 feet above the airport, typically, on these ILS landings. So at about 1,000 feet barometric pressure, and this is about the visibility that you have, and we'll be okay today, so don't worry about this. We decide whether we can land or not. And like I said, for demonstration purposes, I will land. Because I can only stream for so long. But if this were a go around in real life, I will announce it, just so I look good to all the very serious people watching. But yeah, so this shows you what we're going to be looking for is where the PAPI lights are, and these are those like 3 red or 2 red, 2 white. They're a bank of lights that'll show us whether we're above or below the glide slope, and that helps orient us. But this 1,000 decision height, we actually plug in here, and the plane will announce it to us. So down here is like the baro switch. I have it on my actual panel. That's the one thing I will say about this add-on, is that when you, it's really hard to manipulate the knobs and see what you're doing. So my one knock on this add-on is that you have to set like a very weird view to like here to see what you're doing. But so yeah, we said like 1,000 feet. Oh, this thing's slow, so I'm actually going to do this in baro. All right, so we'll set the baro. It was like 1,004 feet. Sounds good to me. All right, we're passing 18,000, so that's transition altitude. I will go ahead and set standard. You can see this thing tells you, barks at you, set standard atmospheric pressure. Or not standard, set local. And so we'll set it on that side, and 2981, set it here. That way we don't crash into the ground. All right. So one thing I'll do as part of our
altimeter setting.
There. So that was the RAS lady warning us. I didn't finish that checklist. So we did our descent checklist. Now that we set our altimeters, I can do our approach checklist. Altimeters are all set. Nav aids. One thing I'll show you, this is kind of cool, that I like to do is, let me delete these fixes that I have in here. And if I put in the airport, Kilo Mike, Kilo Charlie, this helps me, I can put in these rings to just help me get a sense of my distances and how I want the airplane to be configured. So if I went into like our plan mode right now, there's the airport, and now these rings will help us know where the hell we are. So that's one thing that I like to do. And that's like if you're a real pilot, they would also, depending on like the company they work for. So the other thing I'll do is start turning on some lights. That's a huge part of flying, is turning your lights on and off. Let's have people buckle up. Overhead panel looks good. Reset our heading. We're descending nicely. Let's do an announcement. Oh, this is... Alright, see, you screwed me up. I had my speed brakes out this whole time. Test. So, when I do shit like that, I write it down. And I say, Nate, speed brakes. Yeah, so the 757 is my favorite plane, but I fly a bunch of... if you check out my YouTube channel, that's where I archive all these streams. And I like the Boeing, the 757 is my favorite aircraft. I think it's the coolest looking aircraft. But I love the 737, the Airbus A320, A319. I don't know if the chat transfers over. And don't worry, not many people are watching. My mom might watch. Okay. All right, so we're alt hold. We're at 12,000. Why don't we take a look at Kansas, beautiful Kansas City, Missouri. Yeah, there you go. All right, so we'll be flying over downtown Kansas City. I think the stadium is somewhere up. We might be overflying it. All right, it's a little cloudy. We saw that on the METAR information. Let's refresh. Still 2981. Yeah, oh man, gusty conditions. All right, so like I said, let me go to the legs page. So we're doing this Moray slab, and then once we're on these vectors, I'll put in our final fix for us. And I believe that chart still wanted us... I don't think it cares for us on slab. Yeah. This is for jets that are expecting the southern landing. But we'll stay at 2,000, I don't mind. Or 12,000, sorry. Okay. Once we pass Moray, we can go down to 5,000. One thing I'm going to do, we can be more leisurely here. I open up the speed window. I will just go back into VNAV actually. And I'm going to open up the speed window. And let's go down to 250 knots. Drag required. We'll get down in time. Yeah, so right now, the reason I like doing that fix is if I look on my fix page, I can always have my, as the crow flies distance to the airports. So we're pretty close now. And then this is the distance to the ILS too. So here's our 20-mile ring. Or our 10, and here's our 5. So this gives us kind of a good, some situational awareness. And I don't know if you know much about the different modes. So I'm in vertical navigation, which kind of will follow this and any restrictions that are on the legs page. Like this 3,000 above, it won't, if you set a lower altitude than that, it won't go below that. But for now, I can show you the 2 modes that you can do. Is if we definitely wanted to maintain our speed, well, you can do vertical speed mode and just a flight change mode. So if I went flight change, so we have thrust hold speed. So it's going to maintain this speed and get us down to unrestricted descent. Let's look if we have any speeds that we really care about. So here we are, kind of overflying. Are there any speed restrictions? Not really. Oh yeah, no problem. Take your time. This throttles blocked thing is just something in the add-on itself in the sim. You have to, for your throttles in real life on your honeycomb to line up right. It's letting me know that my throttles are in the wrong place. So I'll have to line them up once we get closer. Yeah, here's beautiful. There's the A stadium. That looks like a basketball stadium. All right, how's our temperature doing? Where it's so hot, we don't have to worry about engine anti-ice. So here we're coming on that final turn. So slab. It went a touch early there. I guess not really. Well, I'll set the heading, and I'm going to go into heading select mode. All right, heading select. So now we're flying 250. Going heading, and now we're flying. We're about to be flying downwind the airport. We're in clouds, so we can't see much. That's some weather returns coming in, which are we don't really need here. That's terrain. I'm just going to turn it off, have traffic. All right, we are getting there. So what we're going to do is just kind of fly away from the airport. And just to show you kind of a little better how the localizer works too, I'll fly a little away from this, otherwise it's going to intercept the ILS right away. So once we hit 10 miles, I'm going to fly outbound, just sort of out a little bit so we can see how it intercepts the ILS. So let's just go ahead and make a left turn here. Not much geographical interest. All right, speed, alt capture. So now we're at 5,000. It's going to level off, go into alt hold mode. So speed, alt capture. And if we look on our charts, it wants us to be 3,000 at that Corvi waypoint. And we're just flying on vectors right now. So one thing I'd like to do, and this is what, like if we were on actual radar vectors, see we kind of have like no real flight plan right now. We have a discontinuity. I would go into the flight computer, and since I know I want to intercept this radial Corvi coming in, and this is for the Boeing aircraft, you select that, it copies it in the scratch pad. You put that as where you want to go next. If I just dumped it in, it would try and turn directly to it, but I just want to intercept Corvi, and we said the radial is 192. The intercept course 192. And then it draws that line out. And now if I said execute, now that shows me the line that I'm going to come back and intercept for the localizer. And I want to be 3,000 at Corvi. So the other thing I'll do here is I'm going to slow down to our up speed, which is a little premature. Up speed is like when you have the lowest drag coefficient. I'm going to put my speed brakes out so that I remember to put them back in too. So I'm just going to slow us down. This aircraft, the 757, is an overpowered aircraft. It's a narrow body aircraft, huge engines. It's extremely powerful, and it's hard to slow down. So you tend to want to slow down a little bit ahead of time. All right, I'm going to put the speed brakes back in. So we're going to hang out at our up speed, and I'll start slowing down once we actually get on the localizer. So now we're about 20 miles away. I'm going to turn inbound to Corvi. Let's make a big right turn. We'll give us a little more sound. We are turning, we are turning, we are turning. Yeah, I mean, these sims are incredible, honestly. Like, yeah, I've been here before. So, if you see now, the ILS is starting to come in. I can show you here too, on this little display. But as I'll keep turning a little more toward Corvi. Oh, shit. Descending would be nice. So I'm going to go, I wanted to show you vertical speed mode, where we can actually plug in just our actual rate of descent. We're still far enough. But if I arm the localizer, I just arm the localizer, and you can start seeing it come in here. Let's go 1,000 feet per minute. One thing I will say, this add-on is kind of a little broken. It shows us exactly on the glide slope right now. We're not. We're a little there. Now it's normal. It picks it up now. But you can see we're 21 miles away from the ILS beacon array. And then here's the ILS signal coming in. As we approach, it'll grab us. We'll go ahead and arm the speed brakes. Alright, alt alert. Here comes the glide slope. I mean, the localizer. Alright, localizer captured. Turning on course. Set course. Yep, we're all good. Now I'm going to start slowing this bad boy down because it does not like to slow down. So let's go flaps 1. And bug down the speed. The flaps 1 speed. So we did this already. See, it does not like to slow down. I can help it a little more too. So we can check our flaps 5 speed is 220, so I can help us out a little more. I'm gonna go flaps 5. Keep slowing us down. And now that we're getting to that Covry, which is that 3000, you'll start seeing the vertical deviation indicator come in. And I'm just slowing us down while we're not descending. Because once this thing starts descending, it like really likes to speed up. So I'm surprised the ILS isn't coming in. Check a chart real quick. We want to be 2600. So just in case. Just in case I need to. I don't see the. You never know with the sims if something's broken. So we'll make sure. If I have to dive down, I want to see some movement out of this thing. But it looks like it's coming in. Yeah, here it's coming. All right. There's our runway. There's the Pappy lights. Weather in our face, which is good. So this altitude alert is just telling us that we have a different set. That's on purpose, so don't worry. Yeah, hands off yoke for right now. Alright, so now the vertical deviation indicators coming up. I'm going to go into approach mode. And since we're getting pretty close, I'll make sure we kind of slow ourselves down. Let's go gear down. Flaps 20. Alright, so we have glide slope capture. Now the aircraft is going to pitch down and follow the 3-degree glide slope down. And we will reduce our speed. As you can see, this thing doesn't love to slow down. But there's our runway. 2 white, 2 red out there. Kansas City, look at you. And about 5 miles here. Let's go flaps full. So our reference speed, or our landing speed would be 125. But we've got right now like 30 knots wind. So you usually want to go like half the headwind component plus 10. We'll do like 1.3. Let's go. Let's shoot for 135, and if we're a little fast, that's okay. Okay, so let's get rid of the. All right, come on, auto thrust. All right, so I'm gonna kill our auto thrust. All right, there we are. A little fast, so we're gonna roll our throttles back. Give a little power here. Yeah, so we have a lot of wind in our face. Holy moly. And what I'm looking for here is a certain kind of power setting so that I hold my my speed and my pitch. So I just heard it say 1000. That's usually when I go autopilot off. So I'm going to have to concentrate here. Okay, now we are flying. Oh yeah, I feel there's a lot of wind right now. But we're doing good, getting a little low on the glide slope. Let's add a little power. So we have 3 red. That's no good. So we're like a dot below. And the wind is tossing us around like crazy. All right, back on path. Yeah, wow, we're really getting blown around.
Approaching 19.
All right. Okay, Ras Lady. The pappies are those on the left side. See the 2 white, 2 red? That's showing me I'm on path. Now it's showing me I'm too low. Glide slope is because I'm below the glide slope. The 4 red in real life is probably a go around. Because I'm not really stable. But the wind is bad. So we're going to go for it, though, because we're, for demonstration purposes only, for you, my friend. Okay. 100. Let's start our flare. Alright. We're way off to the side here.
5,000 feet remaining.
Alright, reversers. Normal. Across this runway. Alright, manual brakes. Pretty hard landing. Let's go park over here. Oop, little stuttery. Doesn't like loading in Kansas City. Get the APU going. Alright, flight director to come off. So yeah, in real life that's a go around because I was pretty unstable. It didn't like, well, it tells us. Now we landed gently enough, but yeah, in real life that's probably a lot smarter go around there. Let's turn back here. Auto throttle can come off. Turn all our radars off. I think this is the FBO here. So the players get to park, you know, somewhere nice. They don't go to the terminals like us. Ooh, Texas barbecue is good barbecue. Beef ribs. Well, I'll tell you what, in Louisville, there's a really great place that does barbecue spare ribs. Or not barbecue, barbecue beef ribs. All right, let's stop here. Put parking brake on. All right, bring our speed brakes in. Let's put our flaps up. Let's clean up the plane a little bit here. Figure out what I'm doing. We didn't do our landing checklist, but it was all good. Up here. APU's gone. We're good. So let's see. Let's just park. Let's park right here. Well, what's the super famous place in Austin that like everyone raves about? Is that what it is? Yeah. A friend of mine did a bachelor party. Not a friend of mine went to another friend's who I don't know bachelor party, and they went down to Austin and rented like a Airbnb, and they did the barbecue crawl as part of their as part of the bachelor party. All right, let's go parking brakes. Throttles. All right, let's turn the APU on. Get these lights off. Get some air conditioning. And let's turn the engines off. All right, we made it to Kansas City. Oh, I could talk barbecue with you. I've had my fair share. So I'm going to come at you with a... well, I mean, it's a kind of a hot take. I'm going to start with something that I normally wouldn't classify as barbecue. But if you're ever in Louisville, go to this place, Mama's Pickles and Mustard. Hutchins in Dallas. Snows, Lexington. Okay. I'm going to have to keep these in mind because, I may find my way to Texas one of these days. So are they doing like, are we doing, can I get the big beef, barbecue smoked beef ribs there? Let me huff a little oxygen here. That was a harrowing landing. All right, what do we need? Chalk, stairs, luggage, EPU, passenger bus. Open some doors for the players. Yeah, so in my head, I have the basic kind of, if I'm in the Georgias or Carolinas, I'm expecting, pulled pork. If I'm with the vinegar cue, if I'm going Texas, I'm thinking beef ribs, but I'm sure you have great other barbecue. But Kansas City, they're a saucy barbecue place, so that immediately puts them on the scary side of things because I'm a purist. Yeah, we'll have barbecue. You're buying though. All right, we made it to Kansas City. Exactly. Down in Miami, we had a place that was called Shorty's. That was a good barbecue place that had my favorite sauce. That was just like this vinegar sauce, but it didn't come on anything. It came in like a shaker bottle. It was so thick. And it was all the drippings from the smoker with vinegar, and it was so good. They've since become more like a chain, I think. I haven't been there in 20 years. All right, let's do a quick, make sure this thing is shut down before I start thinking more about barbecue. All right, this stuff all looks good. Heat can come off. Free our passengers. Smoke them if you got them. Fuel off. That light can come off. We're on APU power. Let's go ahead and turn our hydraulics off. And fan off. And do I have external power? Yeah. All right, hydraulic pumps are set. Fuel pumps are off. Flaps set. Parking brakes set. Fuel control switches cut off. Weather radar. Oops, I'm giving... Well, traffic is on. I'm blasting people. I just gave the ground crew a slightly elevated risk of cancer, I think. All right, all the radars are off. All right, we're shut down. Door open. Lock fail. All right, everyone can thank us for our harrowing landing. Yeah, my pleasure. The last thing I usually do before I sign off is the best part of X-Plane is the replay of the landing. Just kind of toward the end. Now, unfortunately, in this add-on, you don't get to see anything. But we can at least, enjoy the exterior view of our landing. This has a crazy pitch, though. So one thing I was going to say that people do kind of like on some of the high fidelity add-ons, they're not perfect. So like in real life, someone might say like, oh, a 757 would never have that pitch angle. But, if you're just kind of taking it easy like we are, then it's not that big a deal. But I tell you what, this was a super windy landing. And I could feel it majorly in when I was trying to land. And so we were getting blown around like crazy, which is why our speed trend was going up and down, up and down. But I just kind of barreled us through. And the one thing that sucks is just that we don't have, like, some add-ons will show you what your actual, what's going on here. This shows us, like, our throttles, placement, and things like that. But we can't actually see, like, if we're on the glide slope in this. But to just tell you that one thing, the PAPIs were the things I was looking at. Once you go visual to the runway, like, if you can keep two red, two white. Red is too low. White is too high. If you have 3 whites, you're too high. 4 whites, way too high. Anytime you get 4 red, it's pretty much like you screwed up. You need to go around. So we should have gone around because I ended up getting a bit low. But that's what I use when I'm visual to try and land. And also, I just love watching aircraft land. And when I'm the one doing it, I mean, it's like, wow, incredible. But yeah, here's me getting all wonky. So I'm in control at this point. But we had like 20 up. It was at least, I think, I'll have to go back and look. But I thought I saw a leading 2 in the wind, so it was like gusting up to 20. But as you can see, the pappy's there. I'm a bit unstable. And right around here, at the very end, I got low. I take care of my boys. This is precious cargo. It's just the best they got right now. But yeah, this is definitely go around. I'm like at least a dot too far. So I would have definitely gone around here. Okay. So you're a lot you're funnier than I thought then. Not that I thought you were funny, but very funny. Okay. I like that kind of humor. But look, we did it. For demonstration, just for you, I was going to land. So we landed like Americans on the right side of the road. You want to be on the center. But the actual landing itself was not that bad. And we got back on the center line. So I will probably be doing this again. I have to unfortunately work today, or the rest of the today and tomorrow. And then I'm actually on a nice little sort of like week-long break. So yeah, I know. That was interesting. It usually doesn't drift that much. It is windy here today. Where's their windsock? Yeah, it's blowing. But I'm probably going to do another flight on what is it, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. On Thursday, I'll probably do my next little stream, and I usually stream kind of in the at least Eastern time, kind of late morning, early afternoon. And yeah, for the next flight, I'm probably going to do an Airbus. So if you're interested in seeing kind of what another aircraft looks like, because I wanted to test out the toeless A319 with my new kind of computer setup that I have here. That's the other thing why I'm streaming more, is I have a fully dedicated sim rig now. So I'm going to get my Airbus stuff and see how that goes. And I'm going to do some back and forth flights to somewhere prettier, probably like Miami to Tampa and back, something like that, so we can get a few landings in, or fly down to the Keys. And so yeah, so Thursday, if you wanted to check it out. Otherwise, I'll be look, there's my drifting. Ouch. Yeah, because some are, you know, some people hate flying. Like the big planes, you just got to find one that you know, that's fun to fly. That's the main thing. So that's the stall warning. Just because we're in replay mode. If I hear that in real life, I will actually have to get out of there. But yeah, I'll show you that, and honestly, super big thanks for popping in. It was really fun talking to you, and yeah, this is basically what happens in the stream. Come on in. We talk about aviation. We talk about not aviation, whatever we like, and listen to a little King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. So I'll let them play you out, and yeah, so I think Thursday I'll be streaming again, probably in an Airbus, and that will be it for me today. So thanks a lot for joining me. It was really fun talking to you, and I will be thinking about barbecue all day now. So screw you, buddy. No, thanks a lot. Enjoy some King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. I will see you later.
This one's about them chickens in the sky. I'd rather be amongst the clouds.
Glasses are my banquet, puddles are my wine. A revel in the present, each moment alive.